What's going on, everybody? It's Rising Grind Picker Shane, and I got with me Jay Craft. And today we are going to talk about if you should be a full-time reseller or not, and if it's a good time to go full-time reselling. Jay here has done something a little different with his business. He was full-time on eBay, and now you are selling. Kind of explain your business and kind of what you do.
Oh man, that explanation is going to take
Just
it's called
just like in
15
a
minutes.
nutshell, I know you sell at events and you're a supplier to
Yeah,
some people.
I guess that the easiest way to boil it down is that I am a direct seller of novelty goods at different trade shows and conventions up and down California. And then we also offer a whole host of services to other vendors and retailers, not only domestically, but here in the California area, but across America to other people who are working within the same category too. So think like
And
anime, pop culture, and novelty items.
like here's the thing is you started out full time on eBay, correct? And
Yep.
just like I'm still full time on eBay and I was full time on Amazon, but now I'm no Amazon at all, I'm like 100% eBay, which is significantly a lot tougher. Like some of the hurdles as an eBay seller that like we go through, like I'm sure your business, you don't have like those same hurdles because most of the like you have probably different sets of hurdles. But like when you're an eBay
100%.
seller, like how was it? Like how hard was it for you to go full time?
I would say for those who don't know me, my account goes back about 20 years, and I've been probably a full-time reseller for a solid decade. And it was
Yeah,
eBay, Mercari, Amazon, wherever I could get my wares
I
out
think
there.
me and you went full time about the same, which was like 9 years ago, almost. I think
I would say I went into it pretty heavy about 14 years ago, and then
you
it's
you
been
might have
the
went full
last
time like a
four
little
and a
bit
half
before
years that
me.
I've been transitioning.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I had a so what I did, and this is what I did. Like right now, I don't know if I could say very consistently. I don't know if I could say that it's a good time to go full time right now in reselling.
Well, it's
I
it's,
think
it's a
if
really big question, and I think a lot of it boils down to what your goals are, what your expectations are, what
right,
your market's like, what your work ethic is like, because what's going to be good for one person isn't going to be good for
right.
everyone. So I made a video on my YouTube channel. Those who don't know, I go by Bolarama on YouTube, and I put up a video about a year ago breaking down all the key points as to why I was making that decision to leave eBay. And it on the surface can seem like a bit nuanced and maybe even a little bit of a like a brash decision, but I started making the transition into the conventions and seeing the amount of money that was there. And I had always done a whole lot of different things. It's just online reselling very quickly became one of the least profitable things
Now,
in
do
my
you go
life.
to like the Comic Con conventions and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So next in 2 weeks, anyone who's out in Reno, I'm going to be at the Gem State Comic Con, and that's probably about uh, no, excuse me, Silver Age Comic Con in Reno, and that's maybe 6.5 hours north of me.
Now I
So I do
know. Do
events.
you ever try to score any exclusive Funko Pops and stuff when you're at these events, like to
Not at
resell?
all.
Because I know they have a lot of exclusive like Funkos and stuff like that that sell for pretty good money most of the time.
Yeah, yeah. No, my goal there is to just sell really well, enough to obviously cover my costs, put money in my pocket, but also to be able to sell and I don't want to say show off, but just create such a presence at the event that we get the attention of other vendors and organizers that are there. Our goal is to be able to talk with these other people who are out there selling and even the event organizers about our inventory and the business services that we offer to them. So everything from flyers, posters, stickers, keychains, enamel pins, anything that a company needs made, we can handle and facilitate those services for them.
Well, and I think this year, and I'm going to quote this, and I could be wrong, but I think this year we're going to see the biggest exit in resellers, like full-time resellers. I think more full-time resellers are going to go get jobs, and I consider me and you like entrepreneurs. Like we have multiple streams of income. It's not just eBay, it's not just this, but I think that's going to be the most important. Like if you're full-time doing reselling, it's going to be really important to have multiple streams of income with the economy in the state that it's in, because I think that even like as a supplier you can supply like people that do whatnot, like people that do like you have such a range of avenues that you can go down with that.
Well, what it is you know, the best analogy is during the gold rush era, and you had a lot of people who are running out trying to pan as much gold as possible. And that's basically what the reseller market is. It's all of us going out there trying to get the gold. But the reality is, you don't have to be the person panning gold to get rich. You can be the guy selling shovels. And I'm a shovel salesman. So I've kind of figured out a way to be able to very creatively take a step back from what I had done historically on eBay, as well as even with the YouTube channel, the training and the education that was the backbone of that channel, to be able to repackage it in a new way. So, you know, I'm gonna, if you don't mind me getting into detail about it, but one of the things that we do that's really different with the company that I own, it's called JMART. And we, like I said, we specialize in novelties, especially things that have a bit of a Japanese flair to them, is we create other companies for other vendors who either want to get in this space or who are already in this space, but maybe not seeing the level of success that they want. So we're talking about people that are maybe going out there earning $1,000 or $2,000 a weekend. And I know some people are like, wow, you know, if you're making $2,000 a weekend, you're crushing it. To give you an idea of what the volume or velocity is for somebody like myself, I'm going out, I'm doing on average $10,000 per event. And that's for a two, maybe a 3-day event. And the best events that I'm doing are peaking out around $15,000 for a 3 or 4 day event.
And
So I'm
that's
talking,
good money.
oh, that's insane money. So,
Yeah.
you know, even on the baseline, if you're willing to go out and do 20 events a year, you know, you're looking on, you know, as an aggregate average, we're going to say about $200,000 a year in direct sales yourself. So we teach people how to go out there and do that. So wherein with Bolarama, the goal was, you know, I'm going to educate, I'm going to offer, you know, real practical sourcing information, not like, you know, hot leads or Amazon pricing errors. Like, we're going to teach people how to
Well,
go and actually find the stuff.
and
You know,
back then, like that was the gold rush era. You can't do that anymore. Like
you
you
know, that
can't.
that was another one of those things. You know, that's why I said the market pivoted. But with what I'm doing now, it's I'm saying I'm going to actually,
Mm.
you know, give you all the education for free, wherein, you know, I historically paid for it. But my rub, my advantage is that I'm just going to wholesale you products that I sell myself that I know sell well, and I'm going to let you sell them in your market.
Well,
So
and
you could
pivoted
be in Wisconsin and you're not going to impact what I'm doing
right.
out here.
You pivoted that direction a while ago, and I remember you doing that. And I'm like, I'm like, man, he's pivoting, and that was right in the middle of COVID, where like selling was hot on it on eBay. Like eBay, you could put you could put a turd up and it would sell. Like literally, let's not lie, you could put a turd up and it would sell. And then you started kind of doing that, and I think you kind of foreseen the economy shifting where it's at now, and I think that's probably why you did that. I'm kind of on the back end now, and I am getting ready to start an auction company, but on with I'm obviously going to keep doing eBay, but I'm going to start an auction company, and that on the other end I have to get licensed and all that. That's another
Well, I'll
ordeal.
be honest with you, man. I got a lot of shit for it. And I get it, you know, I get why, because I mean, I made a video over a year ago listing
Yeah.
out all the reasons why I didn't think it was a good idea to be a reseller. And I warned everyone too. I said, if you wait until the water is up to your neck to decide to start building your boat, the likelihood of you drowning is very high.
Well,
So,
and here's like the analogy is like with me, I've been doing this just as long as you have. Like everybody's a competitor, but like my listings, I have 5,700 listings. Someone starting out tomorrow, yeah, dude, someone start and it's all clothing, shoes, like it's all stuff that has a good sell through. My oldest item is like 300 days old. So you got to put it into perspective. Someone that starts tomorrow, they're not going to be able to build that ship like me and you already have. So it's
yeah,
going to be
well,
a
you know,
little different.
it's a body of knowledge as well. So,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, you know, no disrespect to you and your business model. You work with a lot of, I call them nickels and dimes, you know, $5 and $10 items.
Yep.
Wherein, you know, my average, my ASP right now is somewhere around like $30 or $40. And I don't want to confuse anyone. I still have an eBay store. And
Yep.
this is where I was going to be going with my next video, is I was going to talk about just how challenging it is to close down an eBay store. Because, you know, I've got, you know, some items here, I just pulled them out of long-term storage and they're piled up for photography and such. But it takes a long time to go from 1,500 items down to, you know, let's say sub 50. Okay.
Yeah,
And for somebody like yourself to go from 5,300 down to even sub 500, to bleed out
it'd be
90% of
hard.
the inventory. I mean, we're talking, probably the better part of 2 to 3 years by my
Yeah.
best summation, short of just liquidation, losses, or donation. So,
Well,
I've made all these reasons, and this, I'm going to be a bit verbose here, but I talked about how, thrift stores didn't have access to the goods as much anymore. Postal prices were going up. The
hmm,
cost of actual shipping materials almost doubled during COVID due to the wood shortage. Access to being able to sell on your own without the help of a reseller became easier than ever. Access to knowledge by things like Google Images became
right.
access to that information to be able to price your own stuff became more accessible than ever. And then we had COVID, which became the reseller era. It became the side hustle of choice because, frankly, people got bored and they needed money. So it just became
They were
the
like, "Oh,
best.
hey, let's list on eBay." That's what happened. I mean,
Well, you don't even need to list on eBay. You can list on Marketplace.
yeah.
you know, I'm on Marketplace 5, 6 times a week looking for great deals. I picked up, 60 anime figures last week for
Yep.
five
Oh, I'm
dollars
on
a piece.
Marketplace all
Okay,
the time trying to buy stuff. But yeah, it's
free
crazy.
money, free money. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. Everyone wants to be able to get in and get that slice of action. And then plus, you have a climate where you have local, state, and federal taxes going up, and people are like, well, this is a way that I can put $4,000 or $5,000 a year into my pocket without Uncle Sam taking their little rip off the top.
Well, and you have shipping materials still going up. I mean, USPS. Let's not forget Sunday is today. Tomorrow, USPS rates go up again.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and
they go up
just
once again tomorrow. So like that's the reason. Like personally, I have a big eBay stores because I have the room, but also the problem is I'm kind of stuck in the volume game, and I can't pivot now out of the volume game. So I sell, my kind of like my go-to eBay thing is the good, better, and best model. I sell, fast, medium, and slow sell through rate. So I look for fast, but if I can pick up medium and slow, I'm going to pick them up too if they're cheap enough. And some of my t-shirts I sell, like my ASP right now is $24, like $24.50, something like that. And that's not bad, but on top of that, I've had a lot of big sales that saved me in the last couple months, but also the volume has really like saved my butt. And in some days where I would have had $30 sales, I sold, 10 or 12 $15 items, and before you know it, you're at a $200 or $300 day on eBay, and that's a pretty good day.
yeah, no, it's solid. Well, I'll give you one other reason too why, and this was the biggest reason that I stepped away from eBay, is because, frankly, it's inflation and
Oh yeah.
it's access to goods and the pricing behind it. So inflation burns on both ends, and a lot of people don't see this. So 10
Hmm.
years ago, when I was selling, and if I had like a solid year 10 years ago, it would be 60 to $70,000 in gross sales, and it would be maybe 80% to 70% of that's going in my pocket
Oh
after
yeah.
all things said and done, all inclusive. So,
Easy.
I'm walking away with, 50, $55,000, but let's not forget the allure of it. I'm my own boss. I'm on my schedule. I'm going where I want, when I want. I'm doing things on my time. And
Hmm.
that was it. You were like, I'm willing to take a little bit less money because I'm the big man on campus. Now,
Yep.
if we fast forward 10 years, what happened? Okay, all of the associated cost of being a reseller went up. Okay. And
Yep.
the big one was the cost of goods. Why? Well, natural inflation. So, those pair of jeans that were $1.99 or $2.99 at Salvation Army or Goodwill 10 years ago are now $5.99 to $7.99. And it's like, okay, I'm getting burned on that end. And then the buying power of my money over time in the real world.
Is
So
deflating.
well, yeah. So $55,000 in take home
Yep.
10 years ago, comfortably cover all my costs, put $10,000, $15,000 away in the bank. Life was good. Now, here's the thing: if you go from making $60,000 10 years ago to making, dare I say, $70,000 today, you're making significantly less money than you were 10
You're
years ago.
making like
And I
40
think a lot
grand.
of people lose sight of that. Yeah, a lot of people lose sight of the loss of buying power. So it wasn't so much a matter of me saying like, I want to give this up, or, I'm
Yeah.
done with eBay. It was none of those mantras. It was that I'm making less money and I'm not making an amount of money to survive. And I'm already working balls to the wall. I'm out there 5, 6, 7 days a week working, sourcing, listing, photographing, restructuring the warehouse, moving crap around
It's
to make
all the
space for
same. I mean, it's the same
I
kind of
wasn't working any less. I
you
wasn't working any
you
less.
are just putting more money back in your pocket versus eBay where you're putting more money in eBay's pocket, and that's what you got to look at.
Yeah, and then we also had an increase in fees across all
And they're
platforms.
still increasing. I mean, they increase
Yeah,
every year. They just never stop. It's called it's encroaching. It's encroaching on the business to where you just make less and less and less and less. So like look at it like this is I sold $568,000 on Amazon the year before COVID. Okay. 568,000. I profited $178,000. That's pretty good margins,
that's respectable.
but you can't do that now.
Yeah,
Like right now on Amazon, you can't go out there and sell 568,000 and make 170. You're going to make 10% margins at best.
yeah.
And
No, I can't work. I can't work for 10% margins.
no,
I've got better things to do with my life.
no, and I was one of those crazy people in the middle of COVID. Like when COVID started, I'm like, I'm buying up all the eBay stuff I can buy. I have a 12 by 30 shed that's full to the ceiling, back to front. And I just stashed away inventory and I don't even source. I just list. I literally haven't sourced. Like I might go to Goodwill for fun or to make a video. Other than that, that's it. I don't source.
So
And
yeah,
so
the market's a little bit screwy.
yeah,
And
it's messed up. And so I hoarded all the inventory. So I'm sitting on all this inventory that I just have to list virtually versus going out. And now I can sell the items for less and still make, my cut versus now when you like right now, I could not go pick up a pair of Levi jeans at a thrift store and make money on them. There is zero way.
yeah. So one of the other things too that a lot of people really, really look past is if we look at the way that traditional retail works relative to inflation versus the way that the secondary market works in regards to inflation. So, let's say we have, let's say we take a cell phone for instance. Okay, there's retail pricing on new, and you'll see each new phone or whatever that comes out, you'll see those incremental increases
Mm-hmm.
in price. Where in the secondary market, we see incremental decreases in pricing. So wherein inflation is adjusted within the traditional retail market, it's not adjusting on the secondary market. So even if you take like an old pair of Levi's, those prices aren't, well, okay, maybe not Levi's for instance, but if we take like a traditional consumer good, I don't know, like a t-shirt that's normally $15, it's
Yeah.
not creeping up in price, okay, over time. Even if even if it stays the same, we look at, because we can't as a resellers.
It's going down. Used goods are going down and new goods are
Well,
going up.
resellers selling used goods can't adjust the prices of their goods relative to inflation. Now, if you're selling new goods and you're the one setting the price because you're out in the field or you own a retail store, you can adjust for inflation. eBay sellers cannot, because they're competing with everyone else who is also not adjusting for inflation.
Yeah. And like me, I'm not adjusting for it because I
Well, you
literally,
can't.
well, but here's the thing. Even if I wanted to, or if I could, I wouldn't because I got the items cheaper. So I can meet those people at the bottom or even lower and still make money versus someone that's actively going to a thrift store. They're not going to make that money on that like the margins I can make. Like I literally can sell a pair of jeans at $18, and we're talking about 42 waist jeans at $18 and still make more money because I have literally I think mostly about $1.50 into them
Yeah.
at most.
So for me, my big problem with doing a lot of like, and I still even consider that nickel and dime. And again,
Oh, it is. It
it's
totally
no
is.
offense. It's just the
Well,
vernacular.
it's a retail. It's more of a online retail model versus an online. I mean, I think you got different models. Like with mine, it's more like an online retail store. So it's like you grow your store as much as possible, sell as much as possible. I try to shrink it. Like my older items, I'm marking them down at like 35%. If it's more than 200 days old, it's 35%. Poof, slash it, and I try to sell it like as fast as possible.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with you. So I guess the best way that I can explain it is let's say you start your auction company and the auction company starts doing really well and you found a way through your auction company to work half the number of hours but make twice as much money.
Hmm.
Are you going to have any desire to continue to do eBay?
Well, I'll continue, but absolutely not. My business model will be I will list what I have left, and then I will probably focus on items that are $100 plus. Like if it's
Yeah,
not a
well,
hundred
what
bucks,
what
I
what
won't
ends up
touch it.
happening though is you'll say, I found something that pays me really well in half
Yeah.
the time. I'm just going to go do that job twice as much.
Well, and you
Just
can too,
do the first one. Yeah.
and that's what I'll probably do because you got to think about it. Most auctioneers they take from both sides. They're taking 5%, anywhere from 3 to 5% from the buyer as a buyer's fee. They're taking anywhere from 3% to 10%, okay, from the seller, as high as some auctions I've seen as high as 30% in my area is what they get for commission. And if you sell a piece of farm machinery for $150,000 and you get a 5% commission, you are having a good day, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that
$50 is pretty
5%
good.
commission don't seem like a lot, but on a $150,000 piece of farm machinery, it is a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So that's the thing. So one of the other revenue streams that I added on to that really helped me get away from eBay was I have they call them like booths or shelves inside of a retail store in Fresno.
Yeah.
It's about 2 hours north of me, and I have three shelves in there, and they cost me approximately $150 or per shelf, so about $450 per month for the three. And they have the same items that I sell at my conventions. They have stuffed animals, they have blind boxes, they have keychains, they have enamel pins. I also own an enamel pin company now.
How awesome
Because
would it be for you to get like one of those claw machines and set it up like in your area?
we actually offered them we offered them $30,000 for a 3-year agreement, and then we
Hmm.
also offered an additional $5,000 to do a full build out. So we were going to put a neon JMART sign on the wall. We were going to bring in crane machines. We were going to
That's
do
awesome.
custom flooring, custom shelves, custom paint, and they rejected my offer.
But you
So
but you have so many stores, like you're in California, you have so many stores you could offer. It's insane.
yeah, my biggest problem is that I am running out of time.
Yeah.
So what I do, let me go through this booth and I'll talk about some of the other facets. But I said to myself, if I can find a creative way to replace my eBay, then I can more comfortably back off of it. Because when you have your eBay, you have like your bread and butter income. You have $4,000 or $5,000 a month coming in every month, and regardless of what happens in the world, you can back off of your eBay listing for a while, and you're going to be good for three,
Couple
6,
days, a
12
week.
months.
Yeah.
You could be good for months.
Yeah.
I didn't list for 6 months, and I was still getting 3 or 4 thousand in sales every
And
month.
some days you probably sold more than what you did listing.
Oh yeah, no, but I would go months without listing.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm going to try out this booth thing, and I loaded it up with all the same types of goods. And now that booth, within the 3 months, it was pretty much set. It's doing $4,000 to $6,000 per month. And guess what? I'm not listing all of those items. All I have to do is I have to get a price gun. I tag them. We have custom price tags. I hang little tags on the keychains, and then we tag them. We prep them, and sometimes I'm not even going out there. We have people in Fresno. I ship it to them, and then they go in there. They set it. They clean it. Everything's good to go. And I'm not packing items up like individual items. I'm not dealing with customers. I'm not dealing with feedback. I'm not taking a
Yeah.
ton of photographs and color grading, and I'm able to manage that booth in under 15 hours a month,
Yeah.
15 a month, and be able to match my eBay.
See, that's
So
kind
the
of
only
my
reason I'm
goal.
even doing eBay right now is because I just got all this leftover crap. And then,
Yeah.
I can't turn away. If I'm out in the field and there's an opportunity to make $500 or $1,000, and I tell myself, stop buying shit for eBay. It's like, If I get 40 of something, what am I going to do? Am I going to trickle it out to my booth, one item a month for the next 40 months? It's like, no, I'm going to put some on eBay. I'm going to put some on Mercari. I'm going to blast them out and, get that money in my pocket. But I can't say no to free money.
Well, and here's the thing is eBay is still good on so many things. Like I would never fully take it out of my repertoire for money, but I would heavily decrease it. Like if this auction company takes off, I'm gonna have my daughter, who's almost 15 now, probably take over my eBay for shipping, and I won't hardly touch anything, and I probably won't list. And if I'm at a yard sale and I see an N64 for $10, I'm gonna buy it to list it. But I'm going to list what I have, and I'm not even sourcing for eBay right now. I'm actually just listing every day and studying for my auctioneer's exam.
So let me come back to your first question. Is it a good idea to start as an eBay reseller?
I don't think so. I think it's a good idea to start part-time, but I think going full-time, I think it is harder than it was 2 years ago, and it's going to be harder and harder. I think you've seen a lot of people get full-time access during COVID, and now they're like, where's my sales at? Because let's face it, like sales are not as good as what they were. They're not.
Yeah.
And for summer slowdown, which technically if you sell the right items, I'm still selling 200 to 350 a day is my average. About 300 a day is my average right now. So it's a pretty solid average, but yet you have these days like today where I'm at $47 and it's not even, it's evening time. I'm at $47.
Probably
you know.
zero. I haven't even looked at my eBay today. I turned off my notifications even as well. I just don't want to deal with it.
Well, and you probably only have probably a couple hundred items in there now. I haven't seen it. I haven't looked at your store in a long time, but how many items you got in your store?
I am thankfully down to around 450 items right now.
That's all. So out of those 450, how long do you think those 450 items? How long do you think it'll take to liquidate them out?
Well, this is the tricky thing is that I have around 350 items that don't require liquidation, and
Yeah.
they were bought with the understanding that they were going to be long tail. So
See,
it's
that's
like,
good.
the process of liquidation, it's like I would love to have the space, and that's really what I'm after. Is I need the shelf space because I have a warehouse here on site. I have over 100,000 pieces of merchandise for our wholesale.
See, and if you had the space, I'm sure you wouldn't mind listing 5,000 listings of good quality product if you had the space.
I wouldn't mind it. There's no way that I could do it.
Well, yeah, that's a lot. That's a
I have
lot of
no
listings,
pictures.
but
Well, no,
that's a
here's
lot of
the thing.
listings.
Well,
I'm
no,
crazy. I'm crazy.
Even if it was 1,000 listings, because I again, some people.
I mean, you were already at 1,500 listings before, and you're like, "This is insane." There's a lot of listings.
Well, my thing is, and just to give you like a frame of reference, if you're doing $300 a day, okay, and I know what goes into $300 a day. I know the time it takes to list. I know the time it takes to photograph.
It's a grind.
The time it takes to find the items,
It's a
pack
lot.
the items, make the labels, get them to the post office. Even if they're picking them up, you got to deal with all that. I know how long that takes. You're putting in full days, buddy.
Customer service, answering eBay questions, like it doesn't stop. And at
Yeah, but
2 in the morning,
that's the thing. I will not do that again, and I'll tell you why. Because,
no,
and again, please don't take this the wrong way.
no, I don't, not at all.
I will earn what you will earn in 30 days.
Yeah.
In 2. And
Yeah.
and that's my thing. It's like, why would I ever go back to that?
And when I get my auction company set up, I know for a fact it's going to be just like that because auctioneers in Illinois are hard to come by, and every auctioneer in the state of Illinois is a year out on their books. Like, well, in my area, not in the state of Illinois, but let me say in my area, every auctioneer is a year out in the books.
So here's the thing, okay? Who should become a reseller? This is there's options. People like yourself who plan to be auctioneers, 100% should start as a reseller because they're going to get an opportunity to learn how to interact with customers. They're going to learn about obscure and interesting items. They can build relationships with local people in town. Anyone who wants to be an auctioneer or within the appraisal industry or anything of that ilk should 100% become a reseller. The person who is looking for a hobby income, they say, I just want to
part-time.
Like
10
maybe
retired.
or 15 or $20,000 a year
Yeah.
because my husband or wife already works, because I've got two kids and I know my limitations, because I'm disabled and I've got income coming in and I don't want to make too much. Those are 100% people who should be doing.
Maybe you're
People who are,
retired.
like you said, retired. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just, I want to be able to, have something to do to keep my mind busy, to keep my
Right.
body busy. Those people should be resellers.
And if you want to scale it, eBay is scalable, but you're going to be listing 24/7. Like I list 24/7. I literally
I disagree
do.
that as far as scalability. I'll tell you, scalable asterisk. If you have a team, if you have access to cheap warehouse spacing, and you have access to low cost inventory based specifically on your market. Okay,
Right.
Baycraft in Bakersfield, California, cannot scale eBay over $100,000 a year on his own, and
Well,
I'm
it just
very
depends where you're at. Yeah.
yeah. I'm Shane. I am damn good at my job.
I know
Okay,
you are.
and I tell you, I could do 100 grand a year in sales if I really wanted to. If
You're
I
going to be
wanted to
working.
be in, I'm going to be doing 80 hours a week. I'm
Because
not
here's the
busting
problem
my
right now is like the high end stuff that you were finding 3-4 years ago, it's not out there right now.
hmm
Like you're like
Well, COVID came through, and all of those storage boxes, that barn that never got to, that abandoned
people
business that we're
got
going
to
to
it.
have to sell the building now,
Yep.
it all got uncovered. Everyone needed that spare money. It all got uncovered. So
Yep.
your odds of finding that gem went from, 1 in 100 days to probably 1 in 1,000 days.
It was 1 in 1,000, and now like I find myself listing a lot of just random middle of the road clothing because that's my bread and butter. That's
Yeah.
what I do is clothing, and I'm working literally 80-hour work weeks, and that's why I'm starting my auction businesses. Because listen, if I can start an auction business and pass this to my daughter, I will still do the listings. I have a VA. I have one VA right now. That's it, and he's just doing listings. So I have one VA, so I'm kind of building a little team, but I want to keep eBay going, but not in this direction because the volume game on eBay is brutal. It
You,
will
you know,
wreck you.
I said on my channel almost 2 years ago, and I really tried to like gently nudge people, because if you tell them anything that's going to be contrary to the things that they believe,
Yeah.
they're going to brand you as just being whatever.
A
Okay, but
negative Nancy or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and I told everyone it's eBay and reselling as a whole is intended to be a stepping stone to something better. Because if you're able to do this and you can be successful at doing this, you learn a myriad of skills that are going to make you successful in whatever business you go to next.
Oh, okay, but let's take it like this. Do you know Tekken Sports? You know who he is, right? So Tekken Sports is one of the biggest eBay sellers, was one of the biggest eBay sellers on eBay. He
Okay.
scaled his business, became the biggest clothing seller. Now he is retiring. Like after so many years, he scaled it back and he paid for different businesses through eBay. So now he has like a tree service and other stuff that he's focusing on, and now he's scaling eBay back like you are. And he has 5,000 listings, but he had 27,000 listings to 30,000 listings. Now he has five. So he
Yeah.
took that money from eBay, he made different businesses, and then he got kind of out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll be honest with you. I have 3 or 4 different businesses as of now. Like I own an
Yep.
enamel pin company. I have the direct selling happening at our booth. We have the convention end of the business. We offer retail services. We provide other brands with convention booths for their events when they don't want to hold their own inventory. We do that. I have my online sales, not only through my personal website, but through eBay itself. We do manufacturing of consumer goods. I mean, you have to pivot at some point. No one with any sense should be aiming to retire through eBay. And don't get me wrong, okay? Can you do it? Some of the most successful people I see, it's husband and wife combos, and they're both working together, and they're like, we're
Yep.
making 150 grand a year. I'm like, well, you're each making 75 grand, okay? But you're also making the concession of your household, your time, your family. It's like, we live within our work. It's not a comfortable experience. So
So yeah, I would definitely not suggest full time right now. How I started out basically reselling, and I don't know about you, is my account was started in 2006 on eBay, and I was working full time and I was just selling stuff around my house and going to yard sales part time, and then it kind of spiraled into something like spiraled into full time. But now, like, I don't know, man. I think if someone came to me and said, "Here's a job, we're going to pay you 150 grand a year," I think for right now it would be hard to turn down.
Well,
It's a
I think
hard,
I think I would even take a job for 150 grand a year.
dude. It would be hard. Like if someone came up to you and said, "We're gonna start you out at 150,000. Here's your new job."
Well,
Like I think most.
it's just simpler because even now I still live with my work. So, I would be able to separate myself from my work. I would have a standard 40-hour work week. I'd have benefits, I'd have retirement, I'd have 401k, I would
And if
have,
you didn't work on the weekends,
vacation days,
you could
paid
still do your thing on
vacations.
the weekends too.
I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't even do it. I had somebody contact me the other day and they're like, hey, you could do this and this. Like it was like vehicle rental or some shit, It's like, if you
No.
want to buy a car, it's like, that Turo or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can make an extra, $2,000 a month.
But
And I'm
then
like,
you're paying all these car payments, and when someone wrecks it, you're screwed.
well, you can have the insurances, and you can make it somewhat turnkey. But I said, I'm good. And they're like, well, what do you mean? You can make like an extra 25 grand a year. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm like, I
I
don't
got
need.
what I need.
Well, I'm making like it's so much more than I'm ever used to
You're
making.
making good money, man.
I'm
It's
making
really
like
good
four
money.
times what I made when I was doing
Yeah.
eBay. And like I begged everyone to come with me. Now here's the thing,
Yeah.
a handful of people have come with me. And I've got people I'm working with right now. They're
And I
making
mean,
over
I can
they're
attest
making over
this.
a
You
hundred
you
grand a
reached out
year.
to me and I test this, and you're like, look at this, man. And I said no. And then and you know what? Like I said no because I probably should have said yes. I mean, honestly,
Well,
because looking
there's going to
back,
be a time that's going to be right for you,
yeah.
man. And I talk with people all across America, and I get phone calls, and people are interested and curious about it. I'm happy to take the calls. Don't call me unless you're really serious about making a pivot. But it's and I hearken against calling it easy, but it's the easiest effing money I've ever made in my life.
I mean, you
And just
set
to give
up.
people a basic rundown, I am incredibly good at sourcing winning items. I'm incredibly good at presenting them in a beautiful way. And what I do is I allow
You
people
have great
to buy
pictures
from
too.
me. Yeah, I have great pictures to present. Go out there, sell. They own all their own inventory. They choose the events they go to. They're their own company. But I just supply them with all the back end support. We teach them the psychology of sales. We teach them how to manage all their taxes. We teach them about how to strategically, price their inventory.
Probably upselling, building your basket, building a higher
Everything.
basket ratio,
We
like
create
all
their
that.
we create all their graphics, all of their signage. You can either be a JMART. This is what
Dude, I
JMART was
seen your
just for
bags.
one of our flyers.
I seen
But
your bags that you posted on Facebook the other day, your
yeah,
bags that you're making.
so people who wholesale with us, we provide them with bags, we provide them with tags, we provide them with anything that they need. It's included in. So before I used to have the problem where I would try and sell education to people. People didn't want to pay for it. And I get it, okay? You want to do it your way, and you're like, well, I can make an extra 10 grand through you, but the entrepreneurial mindset is I'll figure it out on my own. And don't get me wrong, I get it. We're alpha men, and we want to we don't want to ask for directions. Completely understand it. So
Right.
I came up with another philosophy, and I said, okay, if I can give you all the education for free, just give it to you, and then I can show you concretely how I make 200 grand a year myself selling, and I can tell you, hey, you can make 100 grand a year because I don't like to push people. You go out and make 100 grand a year for yourself every year. The only thing is, just let me supply you your goods, and it's very hard for people to say no to $100,000 a year setting their own schedule.
Yep.
So we look for the right people though, because I can't work with everyone.
Well,
Okay.
you got to have the right people because if you're gonna like, here's the thing. Same thing with any kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Franchise or anything like that.
It's basically what it is.
Franchises accept applications. You don't get a free ride. You have to submit an application. You have to, like for me, I couldn't do what you do because my area does not allow me. I live in like a middle of a cornfield. Like
Well,
I
I
could
mean,
walk out my back door
you
and there's
have
corn.
conventions within 4 hours of you. You
Yeah,
probably have at least a dozen, maybe two
Chicago.
per year. Yeah. Oh, Chicago's,
Yeah,
dude, Chicago's free money, man.
Chicago, St. Louis, and Indy. I'm right in the middle of all three.
Oh, dude, yeah. No, you can make more than I do. Okay.
I'm 2 hours from Indy, 2 hours from St. Louis, 2 hours from Chicago.
Yeah, dude, I would set up base there. So I'm actually looking to get another place in Tennessee right now, just because, it would allow me to bounce around, work different markets, talk with different people within those
Dude,
markets.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So this is what I'm telling people is that, what we're looking for with the people that we love to work with. One, people who are passionate about sales, they have a background understanding of reselling, they understand profits, they understand margins, people that are good with other people that are just naturally good people. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Good
Oh, dude,
souls,
just
good
naturally
peace,
you have a
grace.
good heart. Like you're not
Yeah.
looking for anything spiteful, like facetious. Like you're not a
Yeah.
facetious person. Like
People who
facetious,
carry
yeah.
goodness with them, and they can attract goodness around them because, anyone you bring on, they're either going to be an asset or a liability, and there's really no in between.
No,
So
there's two
that's
things.
really what we're
There's no
looking
middle.
for. Yeah. And the thing is, because I can't come to you and tell you you're going to make 100 grand a year if you don't meet the qualifications to be able to make
Well,
100 grand a
you also got to be coachable. Like you got to have coachable people because
year.
you know about the business, they don't. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're not getting coachable people, it's not going to work.
And that's another thing we do too. So we're so deep in this process now is that we'll fly people out to us and we'll have them get trained here in California, or I'll fly out to you and I'll train you within your market. So we'll book shows within your area. We'll
Right.
come out there with the inventory. You buy your first load of inventory. And I know we get asked this a lot, like, what does it cost to start? Realistically speaking, on the small end, 5 grand, on the upper end, 10 grand.
That's
And
not
I'm
bad,
clear.
really.
I'm not collecting a training fee or a travel fee or anything. That's just you buying the stuff you need to get going. So we're
Right.
launching a new company in 50 days, okay? And it's going to be a branch off of the JMART brand. We're going to be calling it, uh, uh, how do you even pronounce it? Guzu, and it translates. It's in Japanese and translates to the goods. And
Yeah.
it's going to be like a partner brand. It's going to be, Guzu, powered by JMART, and we're doing all the logos and all the branding and everything that goes along with it, and the retail displays and the fixtures and the lighting. And we're basically able to say, you give us the cost of the goods and the fixtures and everything. We
Yeah.
hand you everything. It's turnkey. It's done. Now you're going to go out and you're going to make $5,000 or $10,000 a weekend with a turnkey business. And when you need more inventory, guess what? You have a direct supplier for it.
And let me go back a bit. Okay, so I'm going to step back for 1 second.
Sure.
You also, what you have access to is like vinyl figurines, like Pokemon cards, stuff like that, correct?
We have access to pretty much anything. So
That's what I'm saying. But you
I
have a
have
lot of
a
like the hot stuff. Like I remember you were selling Pokemon card, like you were wholesaling Pokemon card decks to people when you couldn't find them anywhere.
dude, the people who didn't buy from me, I feel so bad for
I
them
didn't
because
buy from you, and I
I
kind of
begged them.
regret it.
I
But
begged everyone and I pleaded. I'm like, guys, I can get them for $80 a box right now. Please take as much as you can get. And I was selling them and within 6 months' time, $225 a box.
$300 a box,
Dude, I
like
sold a pallet of them. On that one buy, I made over $40,000. And
yeah,
I called you multiple times. I'm like, dude, please
dude.
do it.
You called me several times. I'm like, no, no. I'm like, maybe. I'm like, I don't know, because
And I'm like, dude,
really,
just
what it
send me the
was
money.
I was strapped for cash because I was pivoting from Amazon to eBay, and I had 25 grand in inventory that Amazon held from me and would not give back due to COVID. They
Yeah.
said due to COVID restrictions, they held $25,000 of inventory.
See, this is why I like doing what I'm doing now, because this is always the biggest problem when you're a reseller. You don't work for you. That's the initial impression, is that you are your own boss, but you are not your own boss. You work for the
You created a
reseller
job for
platform.
yourself, is what you
Yeah,
did.
you filled out the application,
Yep.
you looked into the inquiry, you hired yourself. You're like, okay, I'm gonna pay myself this amount of money. Please, Daddy eBay, have my check on time,
Yeah, yeah, and please don't withhold my funds or ban me or anything because you're in their sandbox. So
And
you're
please don't change the terms too often. Give me an opportunity, yada yada
yeah.
yada. So
And
that's
that's
why I
why
made.
I am kind of building my auction company is I don't like I foresee eBay, but like right now, like it's a struggle. Like bills
Yeah,
are a struggle. Like, and it's because eBay is just eBay. Like you get they have great traffic, but like this weekend's considered a holiday weekend kind of because everybody gets like a 4 day weekend and sales
could have
suck.
fooled me. Could have
Yeah,
fooled
no,
me.
I mean I don't get a 4 day weekend. I'm sitting here working. Like we're doing a YouTube video, that's work. Like I've been listing all day, that's work. Like it's work, bro. For
People,
us.
it's like, okay, it's a difficult thing because on one hand we want to say we're independent bosses and we set our own schedules, and we would like to believe in our mind, and we'll even tell other people that we choose when we want to work. But when the option is make money or don't make money, we always will work more. We're
Yeah.
always hungry, we always have this appetite. So with what's so unique about what I'm doing now is that ability to do more manifests itself in visual changes, and it gives me a level of autonomy and control that's unlike anything I've done before. So when I want to try new signage, when I want to try new inventory, when I want to try new booth arrangements, when I want to manufacture something brand new, okay, when I want, we have custom
Yes.
displays, custom signage, custom bins, we have custom
Dude, I seen your little custom like trays too. You have custom trays, it holds vinyl and stuff, and it's all customized around it and stuff. I've
Dude,
seen all that.
everything is custom manufactured in our booth. We, dare I
Your
say, we
booth,
have
when
people
you
can
post pictures of your booth at a event, it looks phenomenal.
yeah, let
Like
me see
I've
if I
seen it. It
I'll
looks
pull up a picture for
pull
you.
up a picture and see if you can put it in front of the camera and show
I
people
can.
that because it looks great. It really does.
I absolutely love
I've
doing
seen
that.
all your packaging and half of this being an entrepreneur is loving what you do anyway. And if you love what you do, who cares? Like what I mean, obviously you got to pay bills and stuff, but obviously you love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is what
And
I
I
love.
remember, yeah, dude, that looks freaking fantastic. Like that looks phenomenal.
So we put a lot of care and attention into the little details, and
But I
think
remember
about it.
even what you sold on eBay was still kind of the same stuff of what you sell now. Like you love that stuff and you love selling like the
And
pop culture kind of like stuff like that.
yeah, so come full circle to your other question about what we carry. I won't touch Funko Pops. I won't touch traditional anime figures at these events. I won't touch, t-shirts. I stay away from all of the historically established categories. And what I try and do is I try and bring out a really unique, fun, family-friendly style experience to our booth. So we're carrying, stickers, stuffed animals, enamel pins, keychains, car stickers, just novelty food items have been really hot as of late, and we bring out these things
Oh,
that we can carry out.
novelty food items from Japan and stuff like that are crazy hot right now.
We're crushing the categories, and we bring out interesting fixtures. So we have stainless steel, food trays that we put the items in, and people walk by like, is that real chicken? We have bento boxes, and we have sushi trays, and we have a cup of noodle humidifier that blows steam out during the event. So we create these really unique
That's
fixtures.
crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
and what we do is we take our experience and we say, okay, because the thing is, if you want to try something new, it's very expensive, it's very costly. So we do
Yeah.
all the product testing and say, okay, what is the market willing to take? And not only that, we're the only company that you'll ever meet that does wholesale, where if you buy from us and you try and sell it in your market, and you're actually trying, okay, and your market does not receive your items, they don't like them, we'll take them right back. We'll give you full credit, and you can buy any other item that we have for sale because we're so confident in the items that we've chosen. So
See,
we're
that's
very
awesome.
meticulous. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, because we don't want anyone to lose money. And I'll
Well,
be frank
and
with you.
no, I mean, it's your business. I mean, basically, when they sign up with you, like they're your franchisee, like they're buying off of you. So you don't want them to lose money. Obviously, you want them to make money.
Yeah, so we have a couple of different levels. We have your standard retail company, those retail accounts where you're thinking like comic book stores, novelty shops,
Pop culture stores.
gift stores,
Yeah.
even restaurants that are looking for some, novelty goods to go along with what they're selling.
Oh,
Those
they
are
have
our
to.
standard. standard retail accounts. And then we have people who buy from us as wholesalers. So they're doing conventions, they're doing retail, but we're not really involved with any of what they're doing. They just want items from us because we offer competitive
And I'm
pricing.
sure gas stations would be a killer market.
And here's the other thing: the amount of opportunity I frankly don't have the time to tap into is insane. Like this company could do $1 million a year. I'm not interested in going that far. And I know it sounds crazy. I value my time. I value my happiness. I value my peace. I'm
Right.
not going that far. I'll comfortably cruise up to maybe 3.5 a year.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. That'll allow me to retire comfortably by 50. I'm good. I'll live on dividends. So, we have that end of it. And then the final step is the people that they're doing over 100 grand a year. They love the brand vision. They love where we're going. They love, the power of having the name JMART behind them because,
Yeah.
we're getting invited to go to events for free now because of how good the brand looks. And that's saving our vendors hundreds of dollars in
Oh,
booth.
absolutely.
It's a huge deal. We're giving to charities, we're doing toy drives, we're doing all of these things to boost the image. Our website, we support artists, we support cosplayers, we support the event industry. We're doing all these things to help out everyone. So we call those people brand partners. And basically, it's an affiliate, but the name brand partner really means a lot more than just a franchisee. These are people that have displayed all the traits and characteristics of somebody who really wants to be successful, and we want them in our inner circle. So
Right.
the goal is to get them to a place where they're doing maybe $200,000 a year, and then we can really help them scale very, very far if they wish.
Right.
And if the company ever does go to that level where, we have like a corporate structure, because the brand for whatever reason is just insistent on stretching out to that $1 million.
Well, and sometimes you can't stop it. Like you might not be able to stop if you might not be able to stop the growth, and you might have to go up to 7 figures. Like it might not be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not going to turn away free money, and because it's going to create real wealth for those who are around me from the beginning, from the early days. So those people could eventually become executives within the final company that gets created. So we're trying to do everything as if though we're a global brand from day one, and we're just going to see how it spells out.
Right.
But for right now, if I can, me personally, if I can sell, $200,000 just on the direct consumer end of things, I'm going to my 20 events a year. And if I can do that with, we tell people our margins are typically 70%. Okay. And that's all in. That's cost of goods, hotel, booth, travel. You're taking,
and that's pretty good because eBay, you're looking at like 30 to 40%.
Well, even on eBay, if you're aggressive and you're doing 70%, so the way I tell people this is that I'm doing my entire quarter's worth of eBay sales in 2 weekends, and I'm basically paying my eBay fees, 12%, and my shipping cost, which is about another 12% because I do free shipping.
Right. And you got to look at it like this: is like you can sell $1 million on eBay people's done it, people do it, but the grind that it takes is insurmountable. And that's why I think like the generation of kids that we have, like the generation we have now of people, like if you're a hustler, like I'm a hustler, like I grind, and my goal is I would like to be the biggest seller on eBay. That's my goal. Now, am I going to get there by myself? Absolutely not. I'm going to have to hire people eventually. Like I have one VA. I had two. I have one. To get there, I'm going to have something else besides 2 sheds, but that's
and
where
that's
you
the thing
start.
about it. It's like for me, like if you're playing the play for status and notoriety, by all means. For me, it's about the path of least resistance and really trying to ensure that I get joy out of what it is that I'm doing. Like,
and I might find that when I start my auction company. I might find that. It just
you should start down the process and find out, because
I'm already starting it. Starting it.
There's no shame in going 3 steps down a path and deciding to turn back.
So I basically how it works is I actually went to auctioneer school. So I spent $2,500. I went to auctioneer school at the Missouri School of Auction. And so now I have my study guide. I'm studying. So in Illinois, like states are different. Like in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
you don't have to have any auctioneer license. But in the state of Illinois, since they love money and they love to spend it, you have to have an auctioneer license and you have to have continuing education every year. So I'm studying for my test, then I have to book the test and take it like online. I basically sit in a Zoom room like this and basically have someone with no camera watching me saying, you can't touch that. You can't have a calculator. You can't do this. You can't have a book. Like you have to sit there with an empty desk. And then when you pass it, then you pay your $500 and you have to be bonded and insured, of course. And then you go from there.
Yep. You want
So
to know one of our biggest hurdles for like bringing on staff?
what's
Because we
that?
live outside of town and we try and, we try to find local people that can assist me with my
Is it
booths.
money? Is it them having the upfront costs?
No, 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 no. I'm just talking like if I'm going to, if like I'm going out to Phoenix, I'll go out there sometimes, 8 hours out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth the money to pay somebody from my market to drive out there, pay for their hotel, pay for them to be there for 3 days, pay for them to drive home. It's cheaper and easier to hire somebody in Phoenix to assist me for like the 4 days, and we pay $150 a day for our labor. That's
And
just
that's good.
it's great. Yeah, it's great. And we pay you out in cash. And then we have a bunch of other little bonuses, food and opportunities to trade with vendors, wholesale buys, yada yada yada.
Right.
So the perks are many. And because we want the people who are there to be very happy about
Well, and
being
just
there.
doing this podcast with you, man, it perks my interest. Like it makes me interested in finding out more. Like even
You
doing
should fly out and come check out an event, man.
I
Honestly,
might, man. I might actually do that. Like, I would love to fly out there and just come to an event with you and kind of shadow you for a day and
yeah,
even like do some YouTube content about it. Like, I would love to do that.
it's absolutely imperative for anyone who wants to start into this business
Are you
to
still in Fresno? You're still
work
in
with it.
Fresno, right?
No, I'm out in Bakersfield still. So I've been
Oh,
out here for
Bakersfield.
about 5 years now, and I'm looking to possibly go back to that market in about 2 years.
Dude, I might fly out sometime this year and check it out.
Yeah, and I mean I have events everywhere. So if you want to wait till I'm in a more exciting town like a Reno or a Vegas or a Phoenix, and I can have you fly out for one of
No,
those,
I
and then
tend to lose too much money when I'm in the United
yeah.
States and the casinos because I'm always going to the casinos. So I like to gamble. So
I've been watching YouTubers who do the gambling, and I have there's two things. One, I've watched them lose lots of money, and
yeah,
that
you
has
can.
helped lighten my taste for it. And the other thing too is that I am significantly less risk averse now with success under my belt than I was 10 years ago when I was very big into gambling. And the reason
Yeah.
is that if I go to the casino and I win $500, needle doesn't fucking move.
No.
Needle's in the exact same spot. If I win $1,000, it's like that's cool. Quality of life doesn't improve. There's nothing I've
Yep.
been waiting to buy. But
Yep.
if I lose that money, it's like, and I
Yep.
beat myself up over it. So I
See,
don't, I don't even like gambling anymore.
I love three card poker, but gambling for me, like I'm the same way. If I sell $500 on eBay, I'm like ecstatic. But gambling, if I win $500, I'm like, oh, it's just $500. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like it's $500. And I
So back to that.
usually will gamble that back to the casino because I'm like, oh, I'm $500 richer. I'm buying in for 500 and then I lose it. So
Yep. So back to that other thing. One of the hardest things for us is actually finding people that can do mental math because when we're
dude, I
with our
can't do mental math at all.
Yeah, so if we're moving $5,000 worth of items per day, and our peak days will sell $7,000 or $8,000 worth of inventory in a single day, and
Mhm.
this is where the tricky part comes for some people. It's like, well, if you're going to sell $8,000 worth of inventory and your cost is approximately 25 to 30%, you're going to need to have $2,000 to $2,200 worth of inventory
Yeah.
per day just for the stuff that's going to sell. Mind you, the moment your booth starts looking empty, your sales are going to go down. So to have that booth that you saw, that booth probably had anywhere in the region of $15,000 to $20,000 of wholesale priced inventory.
If not more.
And that event right there generated, that was Vintage Days at Fresno State. It was the 50th anniversary of that event, and that booth generated $14,500 in 3 days worth of
That's
sales.
amazing, man.
It's
That's amazing.
unbelievable, man.
That's
Unbelievable. So
I'm happy for you, dude. I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome numbers like that.
now here's the thing: there's
Think about
people
it.
who are
You can scale this so much higher, but you are like killing it just at the local game.
I'm not going to, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. I'm the big fish in the small pond right now.
Yep.
Why am I going to go tangle myself with people that got 20 years experience? They've got $1 million budget. I don't want to be set up next to Microsoft.
No.
You know,
No.
I don't want to be set up next to T-Mobile.
You want to be set up next to mom and pop, like they're selling Funko Pops from the booth.
No, not even those people. I want to be set up next to the people who are making handmade coasters.
Yeah.
Put me next to those people. Okay.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I love all of the people that come to these events, but I recognize my place within the pecking order. And here I want to be super clear. I'm no better than anyone else. Everyone has access to the ability to sell and drive sales and do all of these things.
Yeah.
And there's people who go out there to that exact same event that I was at that we did 14.5 at, who were there for the 3 days, who made less than $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There's some there that I believe made less than $500.
Yeah.
And this is why I always caution people. And the same thing's true. You can go into reselling and you can have a horrible time with it, because you weren't properly educated by people who knew what they were doing, or you just didn't have that common sense. Like I school of hard knocked it. I became a reseller before it was the cool thing to do.
Same. Yeah.
YouTube training, and I had to figure out the hard way.
That's how we met. That's basically how we met. And then we just compared to, we were like throwing notes back. But let me tell you something really crazy is that eBay, the problem that you're trying to describe is you're competing against the whole global market on eBay by yourself, and every person. So I was listening to a podcast, and I'm not going to say what podcast it was because I don't want drama, but the person said, if you list every day, that doesn't matter. And I'm like, that's false. That's fake. Well, and I'm like, it's not listing. It is. I mean, virtually, if you list every day, you're going to sell more. But eBay likes. Obviously. Yeah, eBay likes they were like saying, oh, you could list a month and you don't have to list every day. Like this is a job. Like, and I don't think a lot of people understand is like, I have to list every day, or like I didn't list for 3 days. Now my sales are in the shitter kind of, a little bit this weekend, and then they're going to pull out Monday, and I know I'm going to have a killer Monday.
Well, it's a little bit of, I don't know. It's hard to really dial in. There's
because everything has different sell-through rates. I mean, that's the problem.
It's a bit of that. And I mean, this is the simple argument that I make for people. If you mean to tell me that if you list a pair of O'Neill swim trunks, that is somehow going to increase the chance of your Levi's button-up long-sleeve shirt from selling, it's like I'm going to call you fucking crazy. Okay?
That is crazy. That is crazy.
The only argument that I can make towards the benefit of listing every day is because it's keeping your head in the mindset.
It's activity.
Mindset. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to have any real applicable impact on
you're adding, all you are is adding to your catalog of inventory. So basically how I see it is like like you're going to have different people search every item differently. Like a different person is going to search O'Neill swim trunk versus the Levi jeans. And you have to have a catalog built up of inventory if you want the sales. And if you don't have the catalog, then you're not going to make the sales. And you have to be the lowest price.
They can't buy what they can't see. So, you have to get it up there. So, but the thing is, when you have like 5,300 items online, your backlog.
57.
57, your backlog is useless to the consumer because I'm not clicking off those O'Neill shorts and saying, Kim, I wonder what other swim trunks he has. No, I've come to eBay because I'm looking for a specific thing and I'm going to use the search box.
Or brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's even very difficult to convert a customer on eBay. I'll argue that Mercari is a completely different, but on eBay, to get somebody to add more than one item to their cart from your store.
Yep. And if you can do
Very
that,
rare.
you've made it. And I mean, here's the thing. I have almost 700 people watching my store. I get multi orders. I would say probably every other day. I had a lady come in 4 days ago and bought 6 pairs of naturalizer shoes from me. So that was
All the same brand.
yeah,
Yeah.
$145 order. Boom.
But that what I'm arguing though is that if you're not getting them to grab unique things along the way,
Correct. You're not.
like
You're not.
for me I'll do it on Mercari because I sell a ton of lewd pins, patches, and stickers on there. Like
Oh, heck yeah.
adult. I don't know if I have any examples.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like, is it like pinup girl kind of stuff or
Stuff like this. We have stuff that's
oh
lewd.
yeah, like the anime. That's cool,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, we got lewd ones, we got nude ones, we got here's
Yeah, I've seen those like new girl anime. Like
this one's
big
close
right
to
now.
nude, but it's not.
Yeah.
So we got stuff like that, and we sell those $40 each all day long. And people
Oh,
will come
I
through,
bet.
they'll buy 2, 3, 4 of them, cart it, and I'll get a message. It's like bundle received from. And on Mercari, I've had more bundle sales in the last 90 days than I've had in a decade on
Well,
eBay.
let's face it. You know what I had to do to make that bundle sale? I had to refund her $40 shipping because on eBay you can't combine the shipping within the app. You have to either refund them or you have to like here's the problem with eBay right now. All right, they're going to immediate payment. Okay. Immediate payment is great. I love immediate payment, but the problem with immediate payment is you can't send them an invoice and combine the shipping. And when they buy it from their cart, they can't combine the shipping from the cart.
Yeah. No, I'm
So,
right there with you. Daniel, he had that issue the other day. He saw somebody buy one item and then 3 minutes later buy another item, and
yep,
he messaged them immediately. He's like, "Hey, put them all together first, then check them out together because I'm going to charge you shipping on each one of them. I will not
yep,
refund you back." And he messaged them. The person saw it in time, carted up 4 or 5 items, and then bought those ones
yep.
together.
See, and
So
this lady actually messaged me and she's like, "You combine shipping?" I'm like, "Yep." She's like, "Well, you're about ready to get the big order," and I'm like, "Good, I'll refund you all your shipping back, but $8.90 is just what I'm charging you." And she's like, "Sounds good." But she also has to be out that money. I mean, for 2 days, they're going to
yeah,
refund her back. So you might not be able to find a person that's willing to be out that money because it
what
has to
I'll
go back
do
to their account.
another way to do it is tell them, I want you to buy all of them except for one. Send me a message from that item, and then I'll reply with offer for the discounted amount.
Yeah.
And that'll be the offset for shipping.
Right.
And that's another way to work around it.
Right. I try to do that sometimes, but the lady, like, she was so, like, she didn't care. She had money. She's like, "Oh, you can refund me. It's cool." And she was so cool with it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool with me.
I want to circle back real quick.
Yeah.
So the mental math is the issue. That's the issue. So
Well,
we
a
run
lot of
into
people
so
can't
many
count money.
people and it's a huge problem because if you're moving, you have to keep in mind how long would it take you making change for people and counting up their totals to process $7,000 worth of transactions.
That's a lot.
Dude, our average ticket is about $29 per customer. Okay. And it's because we sell a lot of low cost goods.
Yeah.
We have the 3 for 25 is our very popular deal. And the amount of time it takes just to run all those orders and be courteous with people and everything. So we have people that come in that, "Oh, I've always wanted to do this type of work. It's really exciting." And we'll get them on a phone. We'll run some math questions by them. And these kids nowadays, I'm not trying to shit on the kids, but 17, 18, 19, 20, 16, we'll hire young kids to have them come in.
They don't know how to count change, dude.
They
They don't know
do.
how to count
They
money.
can't break a 20.
Dude, my daughter is 15. She don't know how to count money. She's
Dude,
like, "What's
you need to
this?"
get her on that. Dude, kids can't math. Blows my mind. But they can't make change on 20. They can't make change
Because
on
they push all
50.
this common core math and it's like divide 5 plus 5 to get 5 plus 5.
I had to spend, many days training this other person who was very interested in doing the work, and we did like phone quizzes. I sent them apps just to get them up to speed. And, even after 2 weeks, they were still making errors. And,
Yeah.
and people
That could cost you a lot of money.
Calculator there. It's like, if they're giving back too much change, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
People come in and we'll only let them do card transactions, and we'll only have them ring up like single item sales.
Well,
the 3 for 25.
Here's the thing: if their drawer's off, it's either one or two things: they gave back the wrong change, or they're stealing. So that's a big problem.
Yeah, well, it's just stupidity, and I don't want to get into too much of like societal issues, but that's our biggest hang up. So you got, if you're going to be an auctioneer, you got to get rock solid with your math.
Oh yeah, because you got to have a trust account. You got to funnel all the money from that auction into a trust account, and then you get paid last. Everything else has to get paid before you get paid. So like, let's say you sell a car, it has a free and clear title. Well, maybe they have a car that you sold that has the bank loan on it. Well, that bank loan has to be paid out of that trust account before anyone else gets paid. You know what I mean? Yeah. So your math has to be spot on, like dead. And
it's good for the consumer too. Like if you're talking with people about, that tractor, if that person's selling you that $6,500 tractor and you're raking a 5% commission, you need to know how much you're making off of that tractor sale.
You have to know that you have to know that. And the problem is, people don't even know how to get to that point. Like they don't know even what math to do to get that. And that's the problem. Is it's easy. I mean, I can figure it up on a calculator on my head.
Can you do it in your head right now?
I probably couldn't. I might be able to give you a roundabout number, maybe close.
So we got 6,500. We got 5% of 6,000 would be 300. 5% of 300 would be 150. 150. So we're looking at $650 commission.
Yep.
So you got to be able to get to that place where you can juggle those numbers. Now, when you're working with the convention sales, it's a lot more basic. It's addition and subtraction.
Absolutely.
Or multiplying. Somebody's got 4 of this, and they're $8 each. You got to know it's 32. They give you a $100 bill. You got to know you give them $68 back.
Hold on. All right, I got 3 minutes left, so let's wrap it up, and then we're good.
Cool.
All right. So, man, I'm going to link all your stuff down below here so people can contact you. So tell everybody what you're on, and all the links are going to be down below. And then I'm always going to chop this up into shorts and stuff like that, so that way we get a lot of views. So just let everybody know where they can find you at and your website.
The best way to get a hold of us, if you just want to even follow along and see where we're going, what we're doing, ask questions, anything like that, it's going to be our Instagram. It's jmart.cool. And then that's also our website, JMART, the letter J, MART.cool. You can just visit us there. And that's our mascot.
Easy. That is awesome, dude. That is so cool.
Yeah, she's so cute.
That is so cool. Those cards are fire. Those are so cool.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we spent a lot of money to get the design.
I love that, man. And thanks for your time today too, man. Like, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and just talking about reselling in general, but also your business. So I
love reselling, and
your business is very intriguing.
Do it the traditional way. There's a lot of ways to be a reseller and make a lot of money.